broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Jeez. Sorry, guys. So sorry.
Bless you, Kevin.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, Super Bowl has come and went. Came and went. I don't know. Welcome, our final Monday Night Football after show, Super Bowl edition. Patriots versus Seahawks. The Patriots came out as the champions, as you can tell by my lovely co-hosts. I'm Christina Kaplan, and check out.
I'm Stef Z. I lost a bet, and I am a woman of my word. I am not a sore loser, so I am rocking Roxy's Patriots jersey. And actually, she wore this jersey yesterday when she was at the game. So I guess maybe somehow it's given me some sort of luck because they won. But, you know, I do good on my bets if I lose.
Actually, there was no bet. Steph is just actually an undercover Patriots fan. Hi, I'm Kevin John, and I am so happy to be here and joined by these two.
That was 1 minute and 52 seconds in, and you already started.
You know, I love. You see, me and Steph spent the whole weekend together because we actually went down to Phoenix for the Super Bowl and captured a lot of footage. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but it was an incredible weekend, and it was great hanging with you guys. Well, with you.
Aw,
we love hanging
Yes.
with you, too. But
We wanted you to come. I even
Yeah.
texted you. I'm like, why are you not here?
I know. I wanted to come too, but I had other obligations in the basketball world, unfortunately.
Tina's like the new Erin Andrews. She's working like 6 jobs, interviewing stars, and I mean, we're seeing Tina blow up right in front of our eyes here. So
There
Thank
it goes.
you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I did get to interview Carlos Boozer,
Yeah.
Tarek Black, and Ryan Kelly from the Lakers this weekend, which was pretty cool. Boozer is awesome. I love him.
Yeah.
So that was an exciting moment for me.
awesome.
But back to the Super Bowl. What a game. I
What a
mean,
game.
I don't think we could have asked for a better game. That's what you want to see in the Super Bowl, just basically head-to-head the entire game.
Especially coming off the blowout last year.
Yes.
It was so lopsided last year. Like, people literally were tuning out after the third quarter.
Yep.
Like, I remember they
Yeah.
sent in the demographics, like half of the audience wasn't even watching. So it
I
was
would've
so
been-
good to have this.
I would have been so pissed if I went to the Super Bowl last year, especially if I was one of the people that had to buy tickets.
Oh,
Yes.
my God.
With the scalping tickets, $11,000.
Right? Just to see that.
That'd be,
In the
especially if I was
freezing
a
cold.
Broncos fan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. I'd be pretty upset if I were a Seahawks fan this year, though, because, I mean,
Ouch.
really,
Ouch.
they should have won that game.
But really,
shoulda, coulda, woulda.
But see-
The karmas went back and
Yes.
forth
That-
all playoffs in the end of the
I agree with you,
season.
Tina, but honestly, and I'm sorry for Seahawks fans that are watching this, they should not have even been in the Super Bowl. That
Yeah, I
NFC
agree with
Championship
that.
game, Green Bay should have won. So the fact that they were in the Super Bowl was like a miracle and a blessing to
I
them.
agree with that. And I guess I should rephrase. I shouldn't have said that they should have won. They could have won.
Exactly.
Because the Patriots played phenomenal. They had a great game all around. I mean, yes, Tom Brady, that first interception that he threw
In
under
the end
pressure
zone.
kind of was like, oh, what'd you do? Why'd you do that? But other than that, I felt like the team overall played really well. Julian Edelman had a great game.
But you got to give the Seahawks credit because someone who I thought on the Patriots that was going to be good or have a great game was LeGarrette
Yeah.
Blount. Because you saw in the game before the AFC Championship, he had, 148 yards and 3 touchdowns.
41.
I mean, he was dominating.
Both
and
teams played really well. They defended the run
Run defense,
well.
yeah.
Right.
So I mean, Marshawn had his numbers were
He still broke
good,
100. Yeah.
Yeah, he had
but
102.
he didn't. He was just it was his typical game where he just gets short yard runs, but still they were able to kind of contain him for the most part, which I think was the key to their victory for sure. But let's talk about the Seahawks first. And Matthews, what's his first name? Sorry.
Oh, Chris Matthews.
Chris Matthews. I always want to say Ryan Matthews. I wonder why.
I wonder why too.
Chris Matthews, working at Foot Locker last year, got a call to come to practice or come to tryouts, made it on the team. You know, I'm not quite sure how his whole season went as far as, you know, what kind of numbers he had. But from what I can remember, I think this was probably what you would consider his breakout game.
Right.
Which is pretty exciting to have that be the Super Bowl as your breakout game, where he, you know, he had some amazing catches. He really helped out that Seahawks offense for sure.
You know, and just to speak on that, can I say Chris Matthews' career NFL statistics as of 2015? His career NFL statistics: 0 receptions, 0 receiving yards, 0 touchdowns.
That's right. His first, I forgot they said that his first reception was in that game.
Was in the Super Bowl.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So
okay,
prior to this game, his stat sheet was goose eggs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the nice thing about the Super Bowl is because it's such a big stage, you have these players pretty much that are of anonymity that become sensations, household names overnight, like another one we'll get to later with the initials of MB. But, you know, that's the nice thing I like about this stage is you have these heroes that can be made. And Chris Matthews is just a wonderful story. Yeah. And I that's why I think of anything, obviously I'm a Niner fan, so I wasn't going for the Seahawks, but if anything, I kind of wanted them to win just so Chris Matthews can get
the MVP.
MVP,
yeah.
Exactly. It'd be like the first MVP ever.
But you think he would have got
had a
it?
stat during a
Yes, 100%. Or,
oh yeah.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't say 100%. He definitely would have been a candidate for that MVP title.
Absolutely.
It obviously would have been between him, Marshawn Lynch, and Russell Wilson. But I think his story and his performance would have propelled him, you know, a little
and also,
bit.
if you saw his catches, every catch he had,
like the more media popular guy.
I don't know, like,
but it was such a good story that I feel like the media would have ate that up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And we talked about that on NFL AM this morning. They were saying, our producer was like, you know, if the Seahawks would have won, that would have been the biggest story across the network. That's all everyone would be talking about is this guy's story. But because they didn't, it's kind of pushed on the back burner, which is a bummer for him. But, you know, there are plenty of Patriots players that, you know, deserve to be talked about as well. So, but yeah, I felt like the Patriots defense did a good job, similar to the Packers defense in kind of shaking Russell Wilson up a little bit. However, he was able to get a lot of runs there. He's so fast. I'm like, how are these guys missing him?
They couldn't touch him.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's going on? You know, but they were able to kind of they played really good man-to-man coverage because he wasn't able to find a lot of open receivers and
which was
Go ahead.
Not
only is he fast, he's reactionary.
Yes.
So as he sees what's happening, he reacts. Because it's not like he's got the quickest run in the world. You know, like he's pretty quick. Don't get me wrong, but he has like 10 pairs of eyes.
I know.
Like he sees everything that happens and is able to react like that. Yeah. And that's what I think gives him the edge. And they can't touch him.
Yeah, he's like a fly.
He got sacked once, I think.
But another thing I want to say, and to attest to what you were saying about, you know, there's a lot of man-on-man coverage, and I think, you know, the Patriots defense were doing a pretty good job, which was indicative of Russell Wilson's stats, because he was only 12 for 21, which means he only completed 50-something% of his passes, like 58%. I don't know, I'm not a mathematician, but at any rate, he was shook, but
it was less than 50.
Less than 50%. Okay. But at any rate,
it's been a long day.
You know
We've
what?
been driving
Fantasy
all
Stats
day.
Guru
Tell us.
will give us the percentage that Russell Wilson was in.
Yeah, it's more than 50.
Back to my point I was making was that, for one, the Patriots, their rush defense was not that good. Like, I was looking at times when Russell Wilson was literally back there. I was counting like 4 seconds, 5 seconds looking, and then he would take off. But the thing is, when you give somebody that kind of time, he's going to kill you, especially a Russell Wilson who's so mobile and that can evade tackles and stuff like that. You know, he's going to kill you that way.
It's so crazy, though, because but why we have to also give credit to the offensive line of the Seattle Seahawks.
True.
Like, it's not that the defense
Very
could,
true.
like, they didn't allow them to.
Yeah.
Like, they are solid.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want an offensive line like that? It gives their quarterback all the time in the world.
That is what you call an impervious offensive line.
That's the word of the day out there.
Impervious, yes. Meaning not
Thanks,
being
teacher.
able to penetrate. Yes, okay. So anyways,
I know you know that.
Do you teach?
Wow.
Do you teach science?
Wow.
You like lobbed that one right in.
An
You did. You were just
impermeable
like,
membrane.
I'm just
right?
I'm not going to comment on that.
No, let's move
I'm going
on.
to let you get your moment because that was pretty hilarious. I'm not going to lie.
Anyway.
Let's talk about the faces of Pete Carroll and Richard Sherman in that last play.
I mean, let's talk about...
Pete Carroll looked like he was squatting to take a poop
No,
after that.
They
They
had
both
that.
look-
Someone,
They
someone did a
both-
meme or whatever. The
meme.
Meme.
Meme. That's not the other vocab word of the day, meme.
Meme. An impenetrable meme.
I thought when I first saw that, I thought it was Mimi, and everyone made fun of me and said it was a meme. But I've never heard meme before. That's a good one.
Meme.
I like it. It's
any-
my French translation.
Yeah.
Meme.
Not to get
No,
off subject, but don't you, whenever there's a huge athletic event, don't you love the memes that come out?
Yes. Oh
I
my
love
gosh.
looking at all
I
the
think
memes that come out after every big.
What was it? My favorite one for this was Malcolm Butler. Never gonna have to buy a drink in Boston again.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, that
That
was
was my
sweet.
favorite one.
That was sweet.
No, this was the best one.
Oh,
Katy
Perry.
Perry.
Oh,
Okay,
Will
so
Ferrell?
I don't know if you can see it really. It's Katy Perry and Will Ferrell from Blades of Glory when he wore like the same kind of outfit. Okay, we're so off topic, but why not? We'll talk about the halftime performance.
That has to do with the Super Bowl,
I
sure.
mean,
Why not?
all of her outfits were so bad.
Bad.
They were so unattractive, unflattering for her. She has a great body, and she looked just like a box.
But the thing is, she has a great body, and doesn't need to use it to be sexy and to do her
But
thing.
I felt like she looked really dumb. Like she's
No,
not
she
a
looked
good
awesome.
No, she's not a good dancer.
I like how we just went from football to fashion police.
She's not. Yeah, no,
we'll circle back.
she's not that great of a dancer, and I felt like that the costume was just so unattractive on her.
Oh no.
And I think she did a good job. Her performance, she's a good singer and performer, but I just felt like that was a strange choice as her. If you look at her past costume choices, all of them, even especially the one with Missy Elliott, who I'm sorry stole the show. That was my girl.
You know what's so crazy?
I didn't know that. I didn't see the announcement that she was gonna be there, so it was a surprise to me, and I was like,
Did you see what she
my
tweeted
God."
today?
Who, Missy
Elliott?
No,
Yeah,
what'd she
about
say?
this younger
She
generation.
was like,
that-
she said, I'll find it and say it. But I think she said the new kids think I'm a new artist and I'm about to blow up, and then it has like tears laughing like Paul McCartney. Lord have mercy, child. I love me some y'all.
That is so funny.
Because they do a lot of kids. I have no idea.
They're probably like,
but anyway,
"Who's
back
this?"
to Katy Perry. She's freaking awesome.
I
sorry.
think her outfits fit the set of the songs that she was doing.
she put on
I
a
think
show, and it's
yeah.
not. She's not like the girls that try and be so sexy.
Okay, wait. So
not.
you're telling me you liked those cheesy little dolphins or sharks with their mouths flapping behind her?
I thought it was hysterical. And apparently
thought
I
it was
heard,
so
if we're going to be
lame.
in pop culture right now, apparently I heard that her and Taylor Swift, whatever, have some beef, and that was kind of like a dig towards her. I read that somewhere on Twitter today. So I don't know. But I give it up to Katy Perry. I feel like it was a better halftime show. Missy Elliott, Lenny Kravitz, like she had it together. I think that I have stood next to her. And at Coachella and watched the show. She is one of the most beautiful people I've ever
she's
seen.
gorgeous.
And she's so confident in that she wants to go out there and entertain and have a good time. She doesn't want to go out there and have to look sexy for people.
But no, that's not what I was getting at. She didn't have to look sexy, but just the outfits were not. Like, the first one, she looked like she was trying to be Katniss in Hunger Games, on fire, riding on the chariot. The second one, she looked like she was working at Hot Dog on a Stick. The third one was just like, she was trying to be like ghetto chic Rihanna, but the outfit was just boxy and didn't fit her. It was just.
But it's like,
it
did you
didn't make sense.
see the sweater that she had on the day before that had footballs on it?
Yeah,
and
that
like
was
weird
cute.
stitches?
I
But it's
liked
like
that.
cute but obnoxious and weird. Like, I don't care, but I'm gonna be fun.
I liked that.
I think she
felt
did it.
like these weren't.
We should.
Can we just,
They were-
can
Yeah,
we
we
just
should- we
say
should wrap
we had a
this
difference
up,
of opinion on this?
but I
Best
feel-
halftime show ever was Michael Jackson. All right, moving on.
Beyonce.
Oh, but Michael's turning in his grave after hearing that.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mike, but Beyonce and Destiny's Child shut it down, literally.
Yeah, they shut down the lights.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know,
Anyways,
man. That
all right,
seems
all
like a
right.
little bit of a
Why don't you guys tweet in your favorite halftime shows? I think Michael
Kevin,
Jackson.
I
will
am
win.
a youngin'. What do you expect?
That's why I'm saying you would say Beyonce over Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah,
but
you
I
weren't
feel
alive
like,
when Michael Jackson
I feel
did.
like right now, since it's the last show, just all rules are off. Kevin had a great suggestion for prediction. I think we should do that right now and then wrap the halftime up and never talk about it again. But he wanted, go ahead, say it.
Basically, my prediction is that if you notice with the where they're going with the halftime shows, the last 3 years have been all pop superstars: Beyonce, Bruno Mars, this year Katy Perry. Next year, there's only one big time pop star that they're going to go with: Taylor Swift. My prediction is she will perform at the halftime show next year. That is my prediction.
I feel like that's.
I feel like that's highly likely going to happen. Honestly, she's the most marketable
star. Who do you
star.
think? And then we'll move on.
Yeah.
One Direction, even though I don't
What?
like them,
No.
but I feel.
No way.
No
I would
way.
see Justin Bieber. Even our producer's shaking his head out of disbelief.
You don't think so?
One day, maybe that's who you want to see.
No, I
but,
don't listen
Yeah.
to them, but they're extremely popular.
I
More
think
popular
it's
than
gonna
Taylor
go-
Swift?
I think it's
I don't
going to
know, I
go
think
different. I think it's going to go like a Drake or like
I don't know because they try to make it more family kind of.
Yeah, 'cause
Pharrell
I don't
did
know what
it,
song.
didn't he? Not
no,
Pharrell.
well, Nelly and Diddy one time performed in 2001 with
Bruno
Britney
Mars.
Spears. I want to say.
Yeah.
But the problem
anyway.
with Drake is most of his songs now
Dirty.
are a little.
yeah.
He doesn't really have any kind of pop songs.
Exactly.
It's been a while too since
Exactly.
they did like a rock band, like an AC/DC or
Yeah.
something, who's playing at Coachella next year. Anyway, all right, I think we should move back to the game.
Yeah,
but
Let's.
that was fun.
Let's talk about that final play that is very controversial. Whether or not they should Pete Carroll and their offensive coordinator have called that play. Should Ricardo Lockett have made a bigger move? Should Russell Wilson have seen that? And, there's a lot of shoulda, woulda, coulda kind of, what should have happened there.
And you know what the worst thing is? In most of those shoulda, woulda, couldas, they're not the thing at
Acknowledging
hand. They're not
yeah.
talking about the. And look at me, I'm a Jets fan, and that play, that Patriots, the way they played and finished that game, that was an amazing play.
Yeah.
And my question in all this too is, if the tables were turned around, and yes, maybe Bill Belichick would not have made that, but if the tables were turned around and Tom Brady had the ball, and they were gonna say some other random eligible receiver, how they do that, and that ball would have been picked off by Richard Sherman, would we be talking about the bad play or the bad throw of Tom Brady, or would we be talking about how great Richard Sherman was, because Richard Sherman's a big name? So I feel like because Marcus Butler is a rookie and Malcolm, sorry,
I agree.
I feel like a lot of his steam is being it's like dissipating. Like
No,
they're not giving
yeah.
him the acknowledgement of that. That kid wanted to play football. He studied the play. He lined up back on purpose because he saw what was coming and said, "Let me trick him and make him think that I don't know what's happening. I'm going for it."
Yeah, no, I
It's
agree.
amazing play.
I agree with you, and that's what another thing that we talked about on the show this morning is a lot of guys were saying, like, because if you saw Deion Sanders in the after show said, that was the worst play call in the history of NFL ever, whatever. Yes, it was probably a bad play call, but you can't take away the fact that Malcolm Butler made an amazing play, which if it weren't for him, that was an easy step into the end zone. That play would have worked if it wasn't for his smart move. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, yes, they should have
'Cause
ran
it's
the ball
worked.
on the 1 yard line. Yes, they should have done that, especially when you've got beast mode. But it wasn't necessarily I don't think it was necessarily the worst play call ever. I think that Malcolm Butler made a really good play.
I agree. And, there's two problems when looking at this play that I have. One, and this is one that just really shook me from Pete Carroll, or should I say that flabbergasted me, was he said afterwards, well, we were just doing the pass to set us up for 3rd and 4th down. So what are you saying? You're just giving away a play? Like second, we're just going to give away second now. We don't care. We're going to set it up.
Yeah.
That's
You're on the 1 yard line. What are you trying to set up for?
Exactly. Why are you setting it up and giving it away? So maybe, I don't know if that was a true opinion he was given or he was just saying that.
I think
I've
he
heard some
was trying to
conspiracies
cover
as well.
his ass over a bad decision.
Exactly. So that's what I think it was. And second thing off, and this is not a diss at Russell Wilson, not taking anything away from him, but I don't understand why nobody's pointing blame or accountability at him for throwing a game-ending interception. If that was the Cowboys on the field and that was Tony Romo who threw that interception in the game, I guarantee you everybody would be bashing, oh, Tony Romo's a choke. Oh, he
They'd
does
say,
this.
oh, yep, same old Tony.
Same old
Romo.
Tony.
And
Everyone. But for whatever reason, Russell Wilson is like he did nothing wrong.
Exactly.
It's not his fault. He's
And
off.
The fact that you brought that up is a great point because I was watching with one of my friends who's a big Cowboys fan, and he said that same thing. He was like, well, if this was Tony Romo, nobody would be surprised by that play.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
because it's Russell Wilson and you don't expect him to ever make those bad plays, you don't expect him to, especially when the game's on the line and it's a Super Bowl, he's known as the clutch guy.
Yeah.
They're making a big deal about it.
It's like nobody's pointing the finger at him.
No, the problem I think was the offensive coordinator blamed it on Ricardo Lockett and said, "Oh, Lockett should have made a stronger move." It's like, no,
he couldn't even get there. The guy came in front of him and took the ball.
All that aside, it's like I would have bet my life on it. You're at second and goal.
And yeah.
You're at the 2-yard line or in between the 1 and 2 yard line. You have 3 chances. If you give Marshawn Lynch the ball 3 times, no matter what, he's going to get in the goal.
He will.
Even if he got shut down the first, even if you want to do the setup play. So for me, that was crazy. And another thing that I read today that I kind of agree with.
Let's hear it. The conspiracy.
Is that Pete Carroll and the Seahawks wanted Russell Wilson to be the hero of that game over Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch doesn't want to talk to media. They don't want to give, both of them are up for new contracts. Marshawn Lynch, they'd rather give Russell Wilson the leverage because he's going to be one of the highest paid quarterbacks, period, end of discussion. But then if Lynch wins that Super Bowl, he's got more leverage to get a better contract.
They don't want him to get the MVP because if he would have scored that last touchdown, he probably would have been propelled above, Matthews
for the
and
MVP.
Wilson for the
that would
MVP.
have been the second touchdown of the game.
So I don't know. Do we think that all that? I don't know. It's crazy.
I think
there's
that's
a lot of stuff that into that call. There's a lot of reasons why I think they wanted that call. I honestly too think yes, Lockett could have made a stronger move, but in his mind, he would I'm saying
Can't blame Lockett.
I'm not
Lockett is
blaming him. No.
ridiculous.
Listen. Let me finish. I'm not blaming him. I'm saying yes, he could have made a stronger move. Always someone could do something better, but he was going to that ball, and in his head, he was catching the ball and winning the Super Bowl. He had no idea that Butler had read that play and was going to knock him out of the way and catch that ball. Neither did Russell Wilson. He didn't even see him.
Yeah.
He didn't even see him. So it's not like one of those interceptions that Tony Romo throws where there's not a receiver in sight and he clearly looks like he's playing catch with the other team.
Let me break this down.
On
that they had 3 receivers lineup, which means usually I forgot they had a tight end in that formation, but Russell had 3 different options on that particular play. Now I think personally, when you get in the goal line, if you are going to throw the ball, you're going to do a fade route, and if you have a tall tight end that goes,
I agree with you, but all
you're
I'm
not
saying
going
is
to
they
throw
didn't
it in
see
the
him.
middle of the pack. For any quarterback, that's a dangerous throw. Even if you saw the play that Tom Brady made right before that, when they were on the 2nd-yard line, he threw that touchdown to Edelman. That was an out route that Edelman threw, which are smart plays in the goal. You don't throw it in the center. You're asking for somebody to pick it. So I think that Wilson should have read all his reads before.
But I'm saying he didn't see it. I'm not saying I don't think it was a bad throw by Wilson. I think the ball would it wasn't he threw it out here and then he caught it. Butler came into Lockett's space and took the ball away.
That's what an interception is. Just when a defender comes in and
come on, Kevin. I'm not saying it's like the interception was thrown like how Tom Brady's was picked off in the end zone. It was a very different play. The ball was put right in the ball wasn't put in a bad spot. It was not a bad throw. Butler read it and he knocked him out of the way.
There, though.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that, but he didn't even see him. It wasn't like it was a bad decision. He just threw it into the middle because there was so many people there. He thought that he didn't see Butler, and he thought that he had a clear shot to Lockett.
Right, but that's why it's a bad decision.
It's a bad decision.
Yeah,
right.
We keep defending Wilson like, oh, he did everything right.
Yeah,
I'm not defending him. I'm just saying that it's not like a normal interception, nor like the other interceptions of the games. And I just want to give more credit to Butler, saying he knocked Lockett out of his route to get the ball.
I 100% agree with you.
That's all I'm saying.
Malcolm Butler made a game-saving interception.
Game winning,
literally game winner interception.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I don't want to take anything away from Butler. I mean, he came through literally from nowhere and went and grabbed the ball. And that just came from him watching a lot of film, watching a lot of tape, knowing what the Seahawks is.
Right.
Russell Wilson throws a lot of those slants once they get into those within 10
It
yards.
usually
and
works
he read
for
that.
them.
And he read that, and he hopped right in front of it and took it. So I agree with you. I don't want to take any credit away from Butler. I'm just saying I don't think Russell made the best decision.
I don't think any of them made
And
the
back
best decision.
to your point, Steph, I actually agree with you 100% about the whole not wanting Marshawn Lynch to be the hero of the game.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense to me because all of the rumors that I've been hearing lately is that Marshawn's not coming back to Seattle. There's issues with him I don't know if it's within the locker room or within the organization in general.
Interesting.
There's issues there. So there's been a lot of talks that he's not going to be returning to Seattle. And like you said, Russell Wilson's due for a big payday, so he's going to take precedence over Lynch.
Which is another interesting thing that I heard them talking about is Russell's payday. I think it was either Chris Carter or I think it was Chris Carter saying that, look, if Russell, and I've said this earlier, that Russell truly benefits off of having a great team around him. And Chris Carter was saying, look, if Russell wants to continue being a great player and the Seahawks want to continue being Super Bowl contenders, he can't sit there and take up all the money and say, I want to be the highest paid quarterback in the history. He was saying, look, Russell, you're going to have to humble yourself out and allow them to build a team, especially if they're going to lose Lynch. I mean, that's the heart and soul of the offense. So he was just saying that.
There's talks of them and the Cowboys going after AP.
Oh, going after AP?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I know the Cowboys. I know he's been in talks with Jerry Jones at APS. So
Adrian Peterson. I know
but they
you
got
guys probably
DeMarco
out there
Murray.
know, but
Like,
just
why
saying.
would you?
Because they're going to keep Des Bryant and let DeMarco Murray go. Because both are up for new contracts.
Yeah, they're keeping Dez.
Because it's much harder to find a receiver with hands and skill like Des Bryant than it is to get a powerful running back nowadays. Because also the NFL is a pass-happy league now, so it's more valuable to have a good receiver like Des Bryant.
Yeah.
And also, I'll let you know that I heard rumors that the Chargers are going after DeMarco Murray.
That's good.
That would make sense.
They need that LaDainian Tomlinson replacement
Yes.
down there to ignite that offense. And that would help Phillip Rivers out a lot too, having a back.
Also, I think this is going to be, there's been clear problems with the Seahawks in their locker room. I mean, the Jets got to Percy Harvin.
Yes.
So I think this is going to show Russell Wilson's true colors because let's see if he holds out and needs that big contract or let's see if he's okay with his jumps that he gets a team around him so that he has longevity. That, he's going to be put to the test.
That's a very good statement
I mean,
there.
from what I know, or at least what I think I know about him, I feel like he would be the type of person that would say, like a Tim Duncan, I'll take less money so that we have a chance to win again next year.
Speaking of which, not to go back to Patriots, but that's what Tom Brady did. Remember, was it a year ago or last year when he got that extension and he took less money purposely so they can build a team around him? And you see it worked out yesterday. So it would be nice to see Russell do that. But if he does hold out and say, I want to be the best player in the league, then he could end up being, a Flacco that gets this huge contract.
Or Jay Cutler,
Or Cutler. Yeah, right. And
or Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Whoa, disrespectful.
So speaking of Tom Brady, let's talk about him and his performance. Aside from those interceptions, which just were a little untimely more than costly, they didn't necessarily, come at a really bad time. It was just.
Oh no, he threw one in the end zone. That's always costly when you.
No,
because you got 3 points there.
Right. That was, I think he was just under too much pressure and it was a bad decision to throw it. He should have, either tried to throw it away or taken the sack.
Yeah.
But
he had a couple in the ground too. He had a couple of passes super low. He had that one that was almost grounding when he got sacked too.
Yeah.
But the thing about Tom Brady for me, and again, it's he kind of always bounces back.
Well, I mean, if speaking of bouncing back, it's not like his stats were bad. He was 37 of 50.
Yeah.
And 37 of 50, that means he threw for that 73%. 73%. He completed 328 yards or something like that. 328 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, for this to be hold on, Steph. For this to be the Legion of Boom, the defense that nobody can throw on and no one dares to throw on them, he pretty much ate them up.
Yeah.
I mean, read his stats. He devoured them.
Yeah.
So I think the Legion of Boom was exposed. Now, granted, we know Sherman and Thomas were playing a little injured. Don't want to take anything away. But I'm just saying, this Legion of Boom is not all that invincible because Tom Brady, in addition to throwing 2 interceptions, still destroyed them. So I'm like, Okay?
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say the same thing. I was like, even though his stats are somewhat good, he could have still played better. So that also says that there's a lot of football left in Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
So
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
I do too, and I like Tom Brady.
it sucks for my division.
I don't know if because we
You
didn't.
guys got Geno Smith.
We forgot to talk about it before about who we were taking. I was taking the Patriots all along in this.
Sure you were.
No, I was.
just kidding.
Mainly, for two reasons. One, because I just felt like there was no way Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were going to lose a third Super Bowl.
Exactly.
They
Almost did.
Well, yes,
you're damn right.
Almost, but almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So
I always hear that statement, but
anyways, but
Horseshoes and
I just had more confidence in Tom Brady and Bill Belichick than I did in Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. Not to take anything from them, but I just felt like there's no way they're going to lose another Super Bowl. 6 appearances now, to lose the third one, no. And then also the other one, which was probably even more of a factor for me, is the amount of bandwagon Seahawks fans that I've been encountering. My best friend Sarah, I love her to death. She just moved to Seattle. She knows nothing about sports, the only person she can name probably on the Seahawks is Russell Wilson. And I can't stand it. All week or all month really, I was getting Snapchats from her like, "Go Hawks!" in her Seahawks beanie. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I can't handle it. And it's like that everywhere. Like there's all these Seahawks fans just coming up out of the woodworks like, our team's so good, we're going to back-to-back Super Bowls, and like the stupid guy that got the back-to-back champions tattoo on his arm, and like, I'm sorry, I just can't stand bandwagon fans.
I
Like,
hate bandwagon fans too.
Because the worst thing is Sarah, my friend Sarah was a diehard Broncos fan last year. Because her mom and stepdad had a house in Colorado, so she was a Broncos fan last year. Now she's a diehard Seahawks fan. It's like, come on.
I'm going to say this.
I just can't stand that.
I agree with you. I hate bandwagon fans. But I have to say, in being into Seattle recently, and also like what the Seattle Seahawks have done for that city, like there's a unity. So it's like I can't hate it completely if you're there. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely more people walking down the street with a Seahawks something on it. And because I'm such a fan of sports, I love to see that they're at least trying. But for those people to talk shit about something they don't know, especially like we were at Super Bowl. I mean, the amount of Seahawks fans, I would say it was at least 60 to 40, maybe even 70 to 30. Yeah, Seahawks fans. And they were talking shit.
Yeah.
Shit. And it's like, and I get it, like your team's good, and maybe I don't get it because my team hasn't been in the Super Bowl since I've been alive. But you know what I mean? Like it's one thing, but the amount of fans that talk smack and don't know what they're talking about irks me.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Me.
That's what I'm saying. It's all these bandwagon fans that don't know anything about the team or the sport that are just repping it because they're good.
Well, first of all, you got to realize Seattle has the most loyal fan base of any NFL team. Before we get on all the bandwagons, I do want to acknowledge how great their actual fans. There's a reason they have a 12th man flag, and no other team has that. Seattle has a diehard fan base, and I'm saying this because I have friends that are from Seattle.
But only since
and the
they're
city
good.
rallies around it. No. These fans, that 12th man flag was raised years ago before they were the Super Bowl.
But like 10 years ago? 20 years ago?
It was raised a long time ago.
Okay,
I'm saying before they became dominant in the last few years.
Look it up.
But Kevin, because what are they gonna? They're gonna root for the Mariners. I mean,
the Mariners actually with Ichiro and King Griffey, they made it to the ALCS
that was
a few times.
a long time ago.
Still, I mean, and the Supersonics, they went to the NBA Finals with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp.
A long time ago. I'm talking about in recent history, Kevin.
They've had successful franchises in Seattle. I'll say that much.
I know. I'm talking about in the last like 5-10 years. That's what we're talking about here, not 20 years ago. I know the Supersonics used to be good. I know the Mariners used to be good. I'm talking about now. They suck. There are no Supersonics. And the Mariners
But then
suck.
again, another reason I think a lot of people were cheering for the Seahawks this time around specifically is because they have generally a good image. People like the image of the Seahawks. They love Russell Wilson. He's this perfect Christian, wholesome guy.
Right, and I'm kind of getting annoyed with that. I'm not going to lie.
Me too. And I'm a Christian, but I am getting annoyed with that. But anyways, the thing is they have this good, really good two shoes, wholesome image, and everyone loves that. And also another thing is you got to realize coming to the Super Bowl, the Patriots were vilified, antagonized. and everything. So people were hating on them. Like everybody, I felt like America wanted the Seahawks to win as a result of that. So they definitely benefited off of that as well, and why a lot of fans were going for them. But at the end of the day, I mean, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Niners fan and they're my division rival, but you know, at the end of the day, the Seahawks, they showed their true colors that last play of the game when Brady went to take a knee and they started fighting and push like all the Seahawks players. They just showed their true colors on that, on how just sore losers they are, and I just lost a lot of respect for the Seahawks. Yeah. A lot of respect for them.
2003 is when it was first raised.
Exactly, which was before, because they went to the Super Bowl in 2006 with Sean Alexander.
But she asked you if it was 10 years ago.
That's over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's pledging the loyalty to the city. That they weren't good in 2003. What I'm saying
is they were not as many Seahawks fans roaming around in 2003 as they are now.
No. You may just see more now. But
I feel like I've never seen a Seahawks jersey until last year.
That's what I'm saying. Like even this 12th man thing didn't happen because it's because the stadium's super loud.
It happened in 2003.
Right?
Were they good in 2003?
I have no idea. But were there as many fans in 2003? Were there many people walking around the city wearing Seahawks memorabilia in 2003?
I'm sure they were.
Oh, no, Kevin.
In Seattle.
I don't think so.
You guys do not understand. Seattle is... I wish a Seattle Seahawks fan from Seattle's watching right now, and they can tell you what the aura, what the energy is like there.
I would bet you $100 that there was way more Seattle Seahawks people walking around in memorabilia now there was in 2003.
I would bet $1,000, Kevin. You're ridiculous.
Well, there's always going to be people. There's always going to be people that are just fans of whatever. Like for example,
backpedal.
No. I'm just saying. Okay, take the Chicago Bulls in the '90s. I'm not a bandwagon fan, but I love Michael Jordan. I love the Bulls. I think I got a Bulls t-shirt. I didn't get that because I'm a bandwagon Bulls fan, but they were a great team, and you could admire a great team. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, we're not saying there is.
You're taking it so left.
You're changing.
Okay, so then what are you saying? So people can't be fans of them?
No,
we're just saying that now that they're good, they have a shit ton more fans, and people are.
That's like, any franchise.
No,
that's
it's not.
Any franchise that wins.
Okay.
The Bulls, they had a lot of people walking around in Jordan jerseys in the 90s because they were a great team.
What I'm saying is, Kevin,
Patriots.
people like you, people like Tina Cap, people like me, who have our teams are not, like, you're still wearing your 49ers jersey and your team isn't in the Super Bowl. A Seattle Seahawks fan would not be. That's all we're trying to say, and most of them wouldn't. They wear it because it's good. And I'm sure there's a lot of Seattle fans out there that are going to hate because we totally went left on this, but all we're saying is that nowadays there are a lot more bandwagon fans because they're good. The end.
We're just because you were making the argument that there were just as many fans in 2003. We're saying no, there wasn't, because they're better. And like you said, yes, that happens with any franchise that starts winning. Yeah, totally does.
Like Laker fans, you'll see a lot of people across the nation with Laker stuff.
But you still see, even though the Lakers suck right now, you still see lots of Lakers here. I wear my Lakers sweatshirt, my hoodie, my beanie all the time. I don't care that they suck. I still rock it.
I wear my Jet shit.
I mean, it's like exactly that's what I'm saying. So there still are. It's just.
Anyway,
whatever.
I understand what you guys are saying. I understand. I don't disregard. I understand what you guys are saying.
I guess I can say that I felt like I didn't see as many bandwagon Patriots fans pop up out of nowhere this year. You know what I mean?
True.
I felt like I saw a lot more stuff about Seahawks when I was like, what? Like, you're a Seahawks fan? Since when?
Well, then also, you got to realize when it comes to Super Bowl, I think a lot of people just will pick one team.
Right.
And then everyone will be like on Facebook and social media, go Pack or go this or go whatever team. Like, for example, the Seahawks didn't make it and the Packers made it to the Super Bowl. I'm sure you'd see a lot of people walking around with Packers paraphernalia that may not necessarily be. So I think a lot of times for Super Bowl, because it's such a big game and big event, people will just pick one team and they'll be passionate about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the same thing with the Seahawks. There are a lot of people that are just passionate and wanted them to win because the Patriots were freaking antagonized leading up to it. So
yeah, and I find that whole thing interesting.
Deflategate?
Yes, because now it's like, you know, they made such a big deal about the media made such a big deal about it, and you know the NFL kind of danced around it like, oh well, we'll investigate more after the Super Bowl and things like that, and it just almost seems like too like fishy to me, like they set it up on purpose to bring more attention to the team or something. I don't know, like it just doesn't it don't you guys kind of get that
feels weird?
Yes.
And the fact that, you know, and honestly, again, you all know I'm a Jets fan, but like I gotta call it like it is. One of the funniest things that I saw post game yesterday was when Bill Belichick said, we didn't even touch the balls. You know what I mean? Like, he had nothing to do with the balls. So it was like, we didn't handle the balls. Like, it was just really funny. But I agree with you. I think that for me, even being a Jets fan with Spygate and all that stuff, like, I get that there is something about keeping the integrity of the game. I also understand that a lot of teams cheat. You know what I mean? Like, even stuff like, you go back to Lance Armstrong and he cheated, and so many athletes cheat in a way. So
Barry Bonds.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, I'm not, ignorant to think that it doesn't happen. But if you get caught breaking some sort of rule, there should be repercussions. And to wait, like, if it was really... For me, if it was really as bad as the media made it out to be, I'm surprised that nothing happened before the Super Bowl to enforce that consequence.
Yeah.
But because now, I feel like now it's just going to fizzle out. So yes, did the media plan it because there's nothing really to report? Yes, did it make more press conferences? It's possible.
Well, the thing that I thought was interesting was right before the Super Bowl, I think this was Saturday or Friday, it came out that actually only one ball out of those 12 balls were actually tampered with or were under the amount.
No. It was only one ball was 2 pounds under. There 11 of them were underweight, but only one was actually 2 pounds.
Oh, it was actually 2 pounds.
Yeah,
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, the other ones were like 1 pound or whatever. I don't know.
Just
We saw
small.
that. We didn't read the whole thing.
So,
We saw
okay,
that.
so only one was just a significant margin.
Right, and then one was perfectly fine, and that was the ball used for kicking.
Yeah, I think that whole story is fishy because it's like, it kind of goes back to the refs. The officiators inspect every ball before it's being played with, right? So then my question then it goes, if the officiators, once the balls go to the officiators and they expect them, then what happens?
Well, then there was a video of one of the equipment guys going in and out of the bathroom with the balls, like taking one ball in at a time.
I mean, my take on it is that, yes, I believe, like, in listening to all the press conferences about it, what I took from it, which everyone probably takes their own thing from it, I took from it, but when Bill Belichick said what they do to get the tact or the feel, the way that Tom Brady likes it, they rub it, they do this, whatever. He said something to the effect, I'm not quoting him, something to the effect of what they do to prepare it makes it read a pound heavier. So for me, in my brain, it's like, okay, it's almost like when a wrestler weighs in, it's like they figure out what they need to do to weigh in that ball, knowing that whatever they do is going to kind of wear off and it's going to deflate a little bit, and it's going to be exactly how Tom Brady likes it.
So maybe they just, as Kevin mentioned earlier, vilified the Patriots and made a bigger deal about all of this when really it was an innocent thing, and they were just trying to, if they thought it would be a pound heavier, trying to make it so it would be normal. You know what I mean? Maybe it was, and then the media, when I say we, blew it out of proportion.
Right.
Yeah,
and made it seem like a really bad, intentional, malicious act.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think it was intentional. I mean, Tom Brady could have won that game throwing pineapples.
Well, and that's what they
it
were
was like
saying.
45-7.
And in the second half, all the balls were normal, and they still
They
scored.
switched them out. They scored more then, actually.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of variables. I mean, a lot of the stuff that Bill Belichick did say, though, is kind of horse crap when he was, like, breaking down the science of it, because Bill Nye came on and he said that what Bill Belichick said didn't make sense. And it was weird that...
Bill Nye, the science guy.
And it was just weird that it affected the Patriots balls and not the Lions balls. So I feel like in trying to explain it, it was almost like a hole that was like dug a little deeper. But at the end of the day, like,
well, each team provides their own balls, so it wouldn't have. It was the Colts, and it wouldn't have mattered. They put their own. They
like for
do their
offense,
own bowl.
they bring out their own
but
ball.
what he was saying was that the atmosphere and the coldness did it to the balls.
Oh.
So that would have affected the Colts balls as well.
All right, well, whatever. We had,
Check your balls before you play.
I'm happy the Patriots won. I'm happy for Tom Brady. I think he's a good guy. A lot of people, might have different opinions of him, but I think he's a good guy, and I'm happy for him. I think as far as Bill Belichick, even though he is seen as kind of a weirdo sometimes or whatever, I think he is probably the best coach in NFL history, at least in the top 3 for sure.
I'm about to say Bill Walsh is definitely in there.
So I'm happy for them.
Now, speaking of... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think, it's good for the franchise and everything, but I want to hear what you guys have to say since you were there in Phoenix
I'm just curious.
Everything leading up to it.
Do you think that this game, we always talk about the top QBs of all time, do you think this game solidified Tom Brady as one of the top 3 best quarterbacks of all time?
Yeah, if not the greatest of all time. That's what another conversation we had on the show today was, is Tom Brady the greatest quarterback of all time? I should have brought in the stats that they gave to our talent to read. His stats are just outrageous. I mean, Peyton still has better stats.
Oh yeah, Peyton has broken more records.
As far as touchdowns and yardage and stuff. But Tom Brady obviously has more wins.
Yeah.
If you look at Tom Brady too, the 4 wins, like they had a collage with the 4 pictures together. He looks now in his prime. He looks like he's in the best shape he's ever been out of 4 of them.
I agree.
I think he has a lot of football in him. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back and gets that record and gets 5 wins.
It's been 14 years since his first Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
Right.
And and he's the only quarterback to have had 6 Super Bowl appearances.
Yeah.
I think he's, the football version of Michael Jordan. I definitely see. Well, I definitely see more rings in his future. That's what I mean. The
football quarterback, like Michael Jordan. I don't know about player.
Well, I mean, as far as championships goes and winning, you know what I mean? He's got 4 rings already. I see definitely at least 1 more ring in his future.
Yeah, because this guy has 4 rings too. He's a receiver, but still.
Yeah, so, okay, let me clarify then as far as quarterbacks go.
Yeah. No, but there's
a lot of greats. And you know what? I think for me, the biggest thing that, and like I have my opinion about Tom Brady, but he is a good quarterback at the end of the day. But hearing him talk afterwards when they ask him questions about this, how humble he is, and how he doesn't have his you got to give the guy respect.
Yeah, all he cares about is his family. Yeah, his friends, like football.
Well, and that's why he can take a pay cut too, because Gisele's making more money than he is.
I know, right? We were talking about that earlier. Like she makes, I think, doubled what his net worth is. She has, so he can take as many cuts as he wants. And but no, I do agree. I mean, I think arguably he can be talked about as, if not one of the greatest of all times with these numbers. I mean, they're just through the roof. Even Montana, and I'm a diehard Giant fan. Montana, yes, he's won a crap load of Super Bowls, but if you look at stats, Tom Brady's stats surpasses.
I think too something that plays into that is technology, and that and I know that sounds so random, but the fact that Tom Brady has a Facebook page, the fact that we've got Twitter and all these things to make you feel a part and hear more information at your hands, like it makes people know the name more. And people might not know Joe Namath. I mean, I'm sure a lot do, but
Broadway
they wouldn't.
Joe, come on.
No, but you know what I mean? Like if Broadway Joe was playing now, you know what I mean? With all the ways to be in touch with things. It's just it's a whole different way to be in touch and to know your athletes.
Yeah.
So.
I do agree.
Well, before we wrap up, guys, tell me about how your experience was in Arizona.
It was pretty
incredible.
It was pretty awesome. Not to take it too far, but there's this thing called the StubHub experience that went on literally right across the street from the Super Bowl. So they had a lot of fun activities in there. Zip lining and kicking footballs, throwing footballs.
I kicked the field goal.
She kicked the field goal, but it was on her 11th try.
Kevin, I kicked the first field goal and got it in the field goal. Did I not? Correct yourself right now. The first one I kicked went in.
She got
and then
the
I was
first
trying to video it and I shanked it. But the first one I kicked went in.
And
That's awesome.
She was pretty good on kicking it.
Trying to throw me under the bus.
That was funny though. Yeah. But go.
For me, the energy of Phoenix, the downtown, they had so many events. They had fireworks every night. The fans just being around. That was the most fun for me, was just seeing everyone. And I got to interview Antonio Camarde. So for me, that was... he talked about maybe coming back to the Jets. We talked about Jets. We talked about Cardinals. We talked about Bowles being our head coach. We talked about Rex Ryan. It was kind of one of maybe the highlight interviews of my life.
Where did you interview him at?
We got to go to the Gridiron celebrity basketball game. We got to talk to Des Bryant. We got to talk to a lot of players. So it was really, really fun. And it was just a great weekend. There's so much energy. There's so much to do. They really put it together. The ticket sales, we got to talk to people about that, which was kind of crappy to find out how that all works a little bit. But for the most part, it was freaking awesome weekend. And I recommend everybody, even if you don't have tickets to the game, everyone should go. The atmosphere. Next year it's in San Francisco, so I'm sure we'll be there again.
Santa Clara.
Frisco.
Santa Clara. And the Jets will be playing. But...
I think
next year you for sure have to come with us.
Yes, I want to.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. It was, for the most part, organized, too. You know, we saw there was the banter going on. I'm sure there was some fights somewhere, but...
And that's what I was going to
awesome.
say. In regards to the fans and everyone that was down there, you know, it was a very fun atmosphere. Most of the fans were nice, friendly, talking to you. It wasn't like, you know, which I'm sure if the Raiders were in a Super Bowl, maybe a little different with their fan base, but... Everyone, you know, everyone we interviewed, everyone we talked to, interacted with was fun, great. I mean, it was just beautifully did. Phoenix, and it may just be Phoenix. Maybe it's a great place to host it. But anyways.
Well, that's awesome. I am happy for you guys that you got to go. Next year, we'll all have to go together for sure. But sad that this is our last, you know, episode until next season. But
it's so hard to say goodbye.
Stay tuned. Okay, stop. I'm trying to tell our fans. Stay tuned, because we hopefully will be having a new show, a new sports show in the works soon. So keep an eye out on our Twitters. Guys, tell them where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at IAMSTEFZ. You can see some of the pictures from this past weekend. I'll be putting some interviews up as well once we get to it, because we just drove back. But I've had a great time talking to you guys out there. Fantasy Stats Guru, Rev LaCour, you guys are the best, and everybody else that watches and comments. Until next season, I believe it's 218 days until football starts again, September 10th.
That's good.
We'll miss you.
She looked it up. I'm Kevin John. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HeyKevinJohn. And it's been a pleasure talking football, interacting with you guys both here and on YouTube. And continue to stay posted for our sports show that may continue on. I don't know. But just rate us high ratings and maybe they'll bring us back. We'll see. So thank you guys. And thank you too for putting up with me this season. Tina,
it's been rough.
And the staff
it's
for
been
putting up with
now.
me this whole season. I appreciate
and
it.
obviously we're missing Thaddeus. He's usually here. I don't know what his deal is, but he'll hopefully be with us. But I'm Christina Kaplan. You can find me at Tina Cap. Thank you so much for all your support. We love you guys. It's been such a fun season, and we look forward to next season.
And we'll be there. We'll be covering Hard Knocks as well. So keep an eye out for that as well.
Yes.
Boom.
Until next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.